There are 12 stones on the breastpiece. Each of the stones represents one of the 12 tribes of Israel. So symbolically, remember pictures, remember images, remember metaphors, remember pictures. The high priest symbolically carries upon himself the people of God. Now let me show you a picture of an artist rendering of a tabernacle. This is an artist rendering of what it would have looked like, the tabernacle, the instructions given in Exodus 25. You can see you'd enter at the bottom, you can see the altar. Past the altar is what's called a mikvah, where the priests would ceremonially wash with water so they would be clean. And they would enter into what's called the tent of meeting, which had an outer room and an inner room. The inner room was called the Holy of Holies. There were several articles on the outer room. There was the showbread, and there was a lampstand. By the way, Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." There was a table with bread. Jesus said, "I am the bread of life." If you study what was in the tent, some things start to pop out. Maybe the tent is a picture of somebody. Let me show you Herod's temple. This was rebuilt several years before Jesus was born. Herod built this temple with roughly 2.3 million stones. 18,000 people worked on it over an easily 40, 50-year period. One historian says those grape clusters, those gold you can see at the top of the Holy of Holies, the highest part there were solid gold grape clusters the size of a human being up there. One estimate says that the temple area at the time of a festival could handle 210,000 worshipers. So the Day of Atonement, when you gather with the people of God who are committed to the text, who are coming together to be purified as a community, you could have been gathering with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of other believers. Are we all tracking with what's going on here? Do we understand what the Day of Atonement was like? Do we understand how seriously you took the purity of the high priest? Do you understand that when the text says that the high priest would go and he would lay his hands on the goat, he would confess at this moment he was placing your junk on the goat. You would physically see a picture of the kind of thing God wanted you to do.
But as Earth comes by, you have to know tonight that we are living on a privileged planet. Anyone would tell you we're living at one of the most special places, if not the most special place in all of creation. But Neptune comes by and Saturn and then Jupiter, and you're like, okay, we're not all that big, even in our own little cul-de-sac. I just noticed the blue dot fading away is not the Earth. That's Neptune. The Earth has gotten too small to see anymore. Sirius comes by. Little plug for satellite radio. Not the biggest star, but the brightest star that we have found so far. Pollux, which we didn't mention. Arcturus. Such a beautifully named one, Regal. But then the one that messed me up. Our third star, Musifi. Musifi's cousin, W. Cephei. Canis Majoris. And do you know that you couldn't come up here right now with a Sharpie and make a mark on the screen that would approximate the size of our sun? You couldn't even do it. I mean, when you look at these in their relative size, we just have to put a little arrow over there that says, if you could put the sun on here, which you can't, it would go somewhere about here. And can you hang on that for me? And when you see this, I don't know what happens to you, but I'll tell you what happens to me. A shrinking feeling comes over me, and it's not a bad shrinking feeling, it's a good shrinking feeling. Because sin it has a way of shrinking God down in our minds and puffing us up in our own estimation. But just a glance into the universe that God has made resizes everything in a heartbeat. And you realize tonight we are worshiping an unrivaled, uncontested God of all kind of might and power and glory and awe, there's none like him anywhere in all of creation tonight.
Send something home with your audience that will serve as a visual reminder. We give little trinkets and junk away all the time. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the stuff we order. And we have to order, I don't know, like 15,000 things, so it's like, we call up the junk company. They're like, hello, we'll have 15,000 miniature compasses, please come in. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And in smaller churches, you have a huge advantage there. Louis did an incredible message about taste and see that the Lord is good. Everybody got a Krispy Kreme donut heading out the door. That was awesome. Many of you have seen the Canvas series. At the end, we gave everybody a little piece of canvas with the key verse written down on it. Foolproof, I gave everybody a paintbrush. Everybody got a plastic paintbrush on their way out that day because we talked about how we need to trust God to take our hands and to guide the decisions that we make. Everybody got a paintbrush. We did a series on Jonah. Remember in Jonah, it's so cool. He has this plant, and the plant dies, and he's madder about the plant dying than the people of Nineveh going to hell. Remember that? God's going, what? You're more concerned about a plant than you are lost people? You know what we did? We gave everybody a little miniature carnation, a live carnation. And we said this is awesome. We said, we want you to take this live flower and want you to put it somewhere in your house and want you to watch it die. And it's going to be a constant reminder that, and the question you're to ask yourself is, whose life and salvation am I concerned about? Because Jonah was more concerned about a dying plant than dying people. And there's something in our lives we're more concerned about than people going to hell as well. And this flower is going to represent, I want you to sit somewhere, and for the next few weeks, you watch it die as a constant reminder of who is it you need to be concerned about. Because everything else we own is going to perish. Whew. That was good, wasn't it? Wasn't my idea. It was not my idea. I just thought, whoa, that was awesome. We gave away refrigerator magnets, fish stickers, the ledger sheet. I told you about that. Here's one thing we do. Some of you are starting to do. In every major series, we give people memory verse cards at the very beginning of the series. We say, here's the 6 or 7, and we perforate them. Say, pull them out, put them on your dashboard, put them on your car. We want you to take these things home and begin memorizing just a couple of verses. They're going to go along with our series. Shanti Feldhahn did a book for women only. Powerful, powerful book. And we did an interview with her, and we gave every woman in our congregation her book. Cost us thousands of dollars. Shawnee loved it. Now, suddenly there were 10,000 of her books floating around. But you know what? We just thought it was an incredible message for women. We said, if you'll read it, we're going to give you the book. When we do a message that's real strategic, at the next Sunday, we give everybody a free CD who wasn't here. So you do a message on stewardship, you know how that is, and your 4 rich guys don't show up because they're all playing golf in Hawaii. It's like, oh, great. Just kidding. You don't think that way, do you? The Smiths here yet? Can we hold the service for just a minute till the Smiths get here, So you know what? When we do messages on giving, when we do messages on small groups, when we do messages on strategic service, the following Sunday, whoever wasn't here, you get a free CD. We want you to hear this message because we all want to get on the same page together. Lane Jones, who's one of our co-authors around here, one of the creative guys, does all our sketches. He did a talk for Married Life Live some time ago. It was awesome. It was on romance. It was so powerful. I wish I could quote it. His one idea, he had what's the one thing they need to know? This is so powerful. You know what his one idea was? He said to all the married couples, you are the only legitimate source of romance in your spouse's life. See, we always think about, my needs. Whoa. He said, you know what? You are the only legitimate source of romance in your spouse. It was powerful. And he gave everybody a little tiny box that had a little lid with the Married Life Live logo. He said, everybody gets an empty box. And within the next week or so, I want you to put something in that box and give it to your spouse as a commitment that you realize that what God has called you to do in this relationship, and you are committed to being for her or for him what God has called you to be. Everybody went home with a little, it was powerful. See, there's sometimes you can get, it's not just a matter of, and here's 3 things to do and 4 things. No. Give them something, because sometimes when you attach meaning to an object, sometimes it goes a long way to help people know what to do with what you've given them. One of the most powerful things Reggie has ever done, he gave away bottles of beads to all our parents with the number of weekends they had left with their kids. Some of you have been to Grow Up, you've seen this. He gave them all, here's how old your kids are, here's a bottle of beads every week and take a bead out. That's how many you have left with your kids. Now that's a lot more powerful than saying, you know, our kids grow up fast and time's going fast and let's close in prayer and try to redeem the time. God, you know, he said, take this home, put it on your dresser, constant reminder. Your time with your kids is limited. This is how many weekends you have left. That's powerful stuff. Now look, come on. You can't be finishing your sermon on Saturday and go, oh, that's a great idea. We need 900 bottles of beads, okay? Where's the service programming director? We need tomorrow morning, we need... No. That's why you work weeks in advance. Because you know what? I'm telling you, and those of you who know this, do this, you know this. This kind of stuff generally doesn't happen until a week after I'm finished anyway. And I'm driving down the road and I'm going, oh. Or I've given out the outline to some people and they call me up and say, I just read the outline and I was thinking, I'm going, oh, that's brilliant. We'll give them little flowers and watch them die. I would have never thought of that. And if I'm not working until Thursday and Friday and Saturday, even if I thought of it, well, you know, where do you get 15,000 flowers the next day? It's just not going to happen. I'm telling you, when you've decided there's one thing and it's so important, they got to know it, and here's why they need to know it, and here's what they need to do, and here's why they need to do it, and what can I put in their hands as a reminder, even if it's just a few days, of what God wants them to do. I'm telling you, it's a powerful, powerful thing. And what does it do? It takes the one thing, the one application, the do part of a message, and it drives it up to where nobody can ignore it. Then the most famous thing we ever did is we gave everybody money one Sunday. Some of you have heard about that. We gave away $37,000 in ones and fives and tens and told them to go invest it in God's kingdom and write us a letter and tell us what they did with their money. An incredible, incredible visual aid. It's just sucked the life right out of people. Whenever you get about envelopes, they think you want people to put money in it. We gave them money at the end of the service and said, okay, this is the church's money, it's not yours. So you have to give us an account of what you did with it. We're going to do stewardship practice is what we called it. It's called stewardship practice. We're giving you money, it's not your money. You invest it in God's kingdom, you have to tell us on this little green card what you did with it. It's not your money, you're just managing it. Stewardship practice on the church. Then you can do it with your own money after that. People still talk about that Sunday. We gave out the money.